In a major operation led by President Ibrahim Traoré, authorities in Burkina Faso seized 47 trucks packed with weapons and ammunition. The sheer size of the haul raised a chilling question: who was behind this, and what was the plan? 3 days earlier, border patrols in the Kari region near Togo noticed something strange. A huge convoy was moving along the border late at night. Highly unusual. Captain Mausari, in charge of the area, immediately alerted. His superiors' intelligence reports claimed the trucks were carrying humanitarian aid. But why would aid be delivered at midnight? And why take hidden back roads? President Traoré was suspicious. He called General Ibrahim Zerbo of the Special Forces, "Stop that convoy, but be careful. This might not be normal smuggling." As night faded into early morning, the tension in the air was thick. President Traoré had given the green light, and now every second counted. At 2:00 a.m. Burkina Faso's elite special forces, led by Captain Sadou Kabori, launched their operation. Helicopters lifted off in silence, their lights-off drones hovered high above, tracking the convoys. Every move, ground units moved into strategic positions along the border near Kanchari. The plan was clear: block the convoy without causing a shootout unless absolutely necessary. At 3:47 a.m., the convoy appeared, 47 trucks in total. They were moving slowly, sticking to the back roads. As predicted to the untrained eye, they looked like aid vehicles, plain dusty, with worn-out tarps covering their loads. Trained eyes saw differently. The drivers were alert, switching off lights before turns, talking into radios, clearly following orders. This was no normal delivery. Wait. Now came the command. Within seconds, roads were blocked, front and back searchlights lit up the trucks. Armed soldiers surrounded the drivers. Some tried to run, others panicked. 2 trucks accelerated, attempting to break through. Warning shots were fired. One truck skidded off the road. The other was stopped with a precise shot to its engine. When Captain Kabori opened the first truck, silence fell. Instead of rice or medical supplies, there were crates of AK-47s, M16s, and grenade launchers. Other trucks revealed similar contents: machine guns, sniper rifles, anti-aircraft missiles, explosives, and millions of rounds of ammunition. He called the president on a secure line. "Mr. President," Kabori said, voice steady but shocked, "we found something big, really big." Traoré's reply was calm but firm: "Secure everything, not a single bull. It must go missing, and find out where this came from." The ambush had worked. But it was just the beginning. The interrogations began immediately after trucks were seized. Dozens of drivers were taken into custody and questioned. Most claimed ignorance. They said they had been hired through middlemen and were told the cargo consisted of farming tools and food supplies destined for Togo. But one man, Jean-Baptiste Compere, cracked under pressure, told us we were transporting farming equipment to Togo. He confessed from there it would go on a ship. We were paid well, told not to ask questions. Investigators quickly realized that the drivers were just pawns in a much bigger game. But the way the operation was planned told a different story. Convoy had used multiple routes, staggered timings, and false documents, all designed to avoid suspicion. The trucks had been modified with hidden compartments, and the weapons were packed in a way that mimicked agricultural supplies. Security experts also discovered that someone had tried to file off the serial numbers on the weapons. However, Burkina Faso's intelligence teams, with the help of international databases, traced many of them. Some originated from the Libyan civil war. Others were tracked to conflict zones in Yemen. Shockingly, several were brand new, never used before. Their estimated values more than $100 million. Traoré called a National Security Council meeting. The inventory shocked everyone. 15-0 AK-47s, 5-0 M16s, 3 million bullets, 50-0 grenades, 1-500 rocket launchers, 200 anti-aircraft missiles, 20 tons of explosives. Defense Minister General Sadou Traoré said you could invade a country with this. Interior Minister Osni Kari added, if this had been distributed, our country would have turned into a war zone. Traoré said, this isn't random. Someone wants to destabilize Burkina Faso, just like they did in Libya and Syria, but this time we're awake. One of the arrested men, businessman Francois Bonkangu, decided to talk. His confession shocked everyone. This plan was made months ago. He said foreign powers promised support after some attacks and panic. We'd stage a coup. A pro-Western government would replace Traoré. He added meetings were held in Accra. There were People from Abidjan to the go-ahead came from Paris and Washington. The plan, called Operation Restore Democracy, had a $200 million budget. The weapons were just the beginning. Among the names he gave were former ministers, retired generals, foreign diplomats, even workers from international organizations. Traoré ordered major raids in the capital Ouagadougou. They hit 23 locations. In 17 of them, they found more weapons. Arrests followed former politicians, business leaders, even foreigners. Their common link: all were against Traoré's government. At a press conference, Traoré stood in front of the seized weapons. "This isn't just arms smuggling," he said. "It's a plot against our country." He held up documents. "Here's the proof: 47 trucks of weapons worth $100 million, the goal to divide us and install a puppet government." When asked which countries were involved, Traoré said the investigation was ongoing, but some of the weapons came from NATO countries. Another journalist asked about the plot's leaders. 17 people are arrested. So far, they're talking the truth is coming out. A laser asked about regional effects. "This isn't just an attack on Burkina Faso. It's an attack on all of Africa." Traoré replied, "It's time Africa to act together." Support poured in from across the continent. Mali's leader said Traoré is the pride of Africa. Niger and Guinea promised tighter borders. The African Union called for stronger arms controls. Uganda's president praised Traoré's actions. South Africa said it was a lesson for whole continent. New evidence showed the conspiracy reached far beyond Burkina Faso. The total budget, over $1 billion. Each Sahel country had its own regime change plan. Traoré exposed it all at a second press event. He said, "Those who want to recolonize Africa should know we are the grandchildren of Thomas Sankara. We will not kneel." He showed lists of planned post-coup governments. Even ministries had been pre-assigned. Traoré said they already divided the cake, but forgot who owns the bakery. The people do. Among those arrested in the sweeping crackdown were several foreign nationals. A development that quickly sparked international controversy. The group included 3 French citizens, 2 British operatives, 1 American national, and 2 Israelis, all of whom were found in possession of diplomatic passports. Intelligence reports indicated that some had entered Burkina Faso under the guise of aid workers, while others claimed to be part of development missions. However, surveillance footage, intercepted communications, and recovered documents painted a different picture. These individuals were allegedly key links in the weapons smuggling and destabilization plot. When their respective governments demanded immediate release, citing diplomatic immunity, President Traoré stood firm. "Diplomatic passports do not grant you the right to commit crimes on our soil," he declared. "Burkina Faso is not a playground for foreign sabotage." Court proceedings began behind closed doors, but soon went public under immense national interest. The charges were severe: treason, terrorism, conspiracy against the state, and large-scale arms trafficking. Evidence presented included recorded conversations, financial transfers, satellite phone logs, and multiple confessions. The packed courtroom included observers from the African Union and independent legal watchdogs. Traoré promised a transparent legal process, but insisted justice in Burkina Faso will not be outsourced. The world watched with shock and divided opinions as the scale of the foiled weapons plot in Burkina Faso became clear. Western nations, particularly France, the United Kingdom, and the United States, expressed deep concern over the arrests of their nationals and began threatening economic sanctions, suspension of aid, and diplomatic isolation. President Traoré remained resolute. "History will judge those who threaten us for defending our sovereignty," he declared, vowing not to yield to pressure. In contrast, many non-Western nations rallied behind Burkina Faso. Russia affirmed every country has a right to protect its integrity from foreign plots and offered to increase intelligence sharing. China sent a shipment of security equipment and medical supplies, calling Burkina Faso's actions an example of national courage. Turkey, Iran, and Venezuela also voiced strong support. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro praised Traoré as the new Bolivar, drawing a powerful parallel between Traoré's resistance and Latin America's anti-imperialist legacy. 1 week later, Traoré spoke to a huge crowd. "We stopped the plan. We saved our country from war. This isn't just our victory, it's Africa's victory." He promised the seized weapons would be melted down We'll use that metal to build schools, hospitals. Irrigation canals will turn death into life. Citizens cheered, women sang, elders wept, weapons were melted on stage to make a school bell, a symbol of peace. Traoré said the United Nations called it historic. Africa has turned weapons into peace. Investigators discovered the weapons came through Libya. From Eastern Europe, bribes were paid along the route. Interpol got involved. Arrest warrants were issued. Bank accounts were frozen. The network was falling apart. Burkina Faso declared the 15th day of the operation a national holiday. Awakening and Victory Day. Traoré closed with these words: Africa can now protect itself. We will choose our own future. United, we are unstoppable, not with bullets, but with brotherhood, not with fear, but with freedoms.